Okay, sorry. I was on mute. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, so here we are with Kevin. We're going to go ahead and play this game, maybe two for you. Kevin's going to do a play-by-play with color commentary. I think he missed his calling myself, so we're glad we're here. So how you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great, Keith. How are you today?
I'm hanging in there, buddy. Okie dokie. So I have a scorecard up here, and if I can get it to stop moving around, we'll be fine. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to start off, Kevin, with the game here. I'm just going to tell you the first four plays, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Okay. It starts off, and I'm drawing it on the screen. It starts off with four bankers, Kevin.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Keith, let's talk about what happened. And this is an actual shoe that I played with somebody else 2 days ago at the Suncoast Casino here in Las Vegas. Suncoast is part of the Boyd Gaming Group, and they've got about, 25, 30 casinos coast to coast. Most of them are here in Vegas, but they do have them in other cities.
Okay.
So you are absolutely right. That is the first four plays of the shoe. And again, what we're here to talk about is, again, I'm going to call it the 87% solution. The reason for 87% is that of all the events, a 1 in a row, a 2 in a row, a 3 in a row, a 4 in a row, etc., in a shoe, anything that could happen, 87% of those events, when they terminate, will either be a 1 in a row at 50% of all events, a 2 in a row at 25% of all events, and a 3 in a row at 12.5%. Now, it may not be every shoe that exactly works out to that percentage.
Of course not.
But one of the ways to decipher how the casino is working their shoes, so to speak, is to, as you play each shoe, write down how many 1s in a row, 2s in a row, etc., that shoe delivered. And then when you play the second shoe or the third shoe of the same casino, write those numbers down as well. And I think what you'll see is by three shoes or more, you're going to be real close to 50% 1s, 25% 2s, etc. And I do this all the time to really kind of make sure that something's not going on that I'm not happy with, But candidly, you're going to see it almost every time, especially if you don't see it in 1 or 2 shoes, you're going to see it by the third shoe if you add them all up. So with that as a preface, what we're here to talk about is a way to very, very simply record the shoes and make decisions as to when to make a bet selection. We are not here to talk about money management progressions. We are not here to talk about a lot of things that are on the forum. We're not here to talk about any other systems, etc. What we're trying to do is create something that is simple for any player, somebody who's played a long time, somebody who's played, 20 shoes, somebody who's just starting out. So we're trying to come up with something here that is going to be really simple for them to do. And it will help them understand how the very important, simple 5th grade math of the game will show them the way to win, not just play the game, but show them the way to win. So that's what we're doing here, okay? I had to kind of set it all up again for us.
Okay.
So after that, you've got the columns there, okay? Yep. After the very first bank, you see that it went to another bank.
Right.
So after the 1, it repeated.
Yep.
So you're going to make a mark. You're going to write 1, whatever you want to write. Just make a mark in the 1 in a row. It repeated. So you've got your OR count will be what, Keith? You tell me what the OR count is after it repeats.
Well, it repeated, so we usually count that as +1 when it repeats and -1 when it goes opposite. So.
Okay, so let's do +1.
Okay, so you want me to write that, Kevin, in the 1 in a row OR count? Is that right?
I want you to write it in the 1 in a row OR count.
Okay, so I'm just going to put a 1 in the 1 in a row OR count. Okay.
So that's a +1, right?
Right. A little twist on the traditional OR count. So we're segregating them out, Kevin, just for clarity, correct?
It is. This is a little different. This is going to make it much, much simpler to make decisions.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
If you go to the total column, remember, we're only concerned about 1s, 2s, and 3s in a row. And so far, Keith, for a total, what's our opposite repeat count for a total?
Well, we have 1. We're still at +1 then.
Okay, very good. Okay. So
you want to put a 1 there now, Kevin?
Yeah, I want you to put a 1 there.
We'll just carry that over. Okay, buddy.
Okay, so now we're not dealing with a 1 in a row anymore. We're dealing with a 2 in a row, because if you look at your card, the very first 2 plays are on the bank.
Yes, sir.
So what happens after the 2 in a row, the 1 and the 2, we go to hand 3, and it also turned out to be a bank. So that's a repeat on the 2.
Yes.
So the 2 is now +1. Also.
Okay, so we'll put a 1 in the 2 in a row column.
Okay, so what's our total count so far?
So we have 2.
We got 2.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to the play number 4, because we're really not betting yet. It's probably a little early. But let's just say we're not betting at this point, okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's go to the 4th play, and now we're concerned with 3s in a row, because the 1, 2, and 3 plays add up to 3. Right? You see how we're at 3 in a row?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happens with the 4th play?
Well, we want repeat, Kevin.
Okay. So where does that go? What column are you going to put that in, Keith? You're a student.
I'm a student. You bet. We're going to go ahead and put the 3 in a row column then, Kevin.
You got it.
You're going to
put it in the 3.
And then our total is going to go to 3.
Okay, that's correct. So again, for the people that we're really trying to reach, these are not for our professional players. Okay, they can obviously use this methodology, but
I think everybody's interested in learning something a little different twist. I don't think you always have to qualify. It's not for them, Kevin. I think find it enjoyable, man.
No problem. So as I played the game, the next thing that happened was after the 4 in a row, we switched back to the player.
Yes, it did.
So our fifth entry is a player entry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, if we look at, we don't care what happened after the 4. Remember, we're only concerned with 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Right. Okay.
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 So the next play happens to be a player also.
Yes.
Okay. So if you circle that.
I put that in.
So we now had another 1, and it went to a 2. So how would that affect our 1 opposite repeat count?
Well, we're going to go ahead and bump that up at play 6 to a 2, 1 in a row OR count.
There you go.
Okay.
And again, because we're only concerned, Kate, with 3 or more. So I'm not concerned about that 4. That could have gone to 52. Okay. I don't care.
Okay. So now a point of clarification, I'm sure for some players, Kevin, for the total OR count, are we storing any opposites after a 4 in a row to keep the running OR count, or will we figure that in, sir?
We can, Keith, we could do it either way. If it's easier in terms of understanding, if you believe that, we can keep a running OR count like that. Our columns of 1 in a row, 2 in a row, 3 in a row will not change.
Right. But that will. So that will give us an overall more accurate statistic on opposites and repeats. It would be my feeling. I don't know, but you guys, you've been playing this. What information is valuable?
That if you think that information should be there, then, what would your total be?
Well, it went opposite, so it would have came down to 2.
That is correct. It would come down to 2.
I'll play 6, and then, of course, it would have went back up to 3. However, if we would have ignored it, then at play 6, our total OR count would have been 4 because we would have ignored the opposite, being that it's more than a 4 in a row. So you know, it would be my inkling to keep this you know, an overall game OR count as we have in the past, and use
Sure.
the specific information that you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you plan. I guess it all depends. Our conversation would be, it all depends how we use this. How does it affect our decision in what way, you know? But anyway, we'll do it. Let's do it traditional OR count and kind of talk through it, and we can let other folks in the forum tweak it as they see fit too, I guess. So.
Well, one of the ways I think, again, Keith, that it's easy to do this, and it's going to add up, and it's going to be easy to understand. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Is if in the OR column, like the one OR column,
yes,
if you put a 0/1 in that very first column,
okay,
that's 0 opposites /1 repeat.
yep.
You see that?
Well, I can put it there. Yeah, I can. I didn't put. I just. Okay.
I know what you're doing, Keith. I know what you're doing. But what I'm trying to tell you is, let's make it so people really understand. They got
No,
zero
I
opposites.
so you want me to put your suggestion is to put 0/1 instead of just 1.
That would be my suggestion. Yes.
Okay, it's done. Same
So
thing in column.
now let's go to the total.
Okay.
What should that be? 0/1.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So 0/1 in the total column.
All right.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the third play, which was another opposite. So in the 2 column, we've got no opposites and 1 repeat in the 2 column. So we've got 0/1 there.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
But our total now is what? 0/2.
2.
Got it. Okay, we go to the fourth play. It was another repeat. After 3 in a row, it repeated.
Yep.
Okay, so after 4 plays, we got no opposites and 3 repeats. But again, we said it's a little early to bet, unless you've got more sophisticated methodologies. But right now, we're going simple. So now we went back to a 1 on the player.
So, Kevin, a point of clarification. On play 5, then, on the total OR count, we should make that 1/2 then, because of the opposite then, sir?
If it would be a 1/3.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3, yeah, not 2.
You've still got 3 repeats.
Okay. So here we're changing it just a little bit. We're just going to keep So we're going to switch the metric a little bit. In other words, it's not going to use the running OR count. We're going to use the comparison in it, which, okay.
That is correct. Let's do that.
All right.
Okay.
I think it's
going to be. I think it'll be clearer to people, candidly.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do. Okay.
So let's go now to play number 6. Play number 6 was an opposite of the 1 in a row. Okay? So we now know our 1 in a rows, we have a repeat of the 1 in a row. I apologize. So we now have 0 opposites and 2 repeats in that column.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So far, how many total? We have 4 total repeats and 1 opposite.
Yep. And we got that in the total OR count as 1 to 4 now.
Okay, good. So we're probably ready to start betting. We're probably saying, okay, the repeats are, I like to use a metric of if the total OR count or the OR count in a single column is greater than 2, the disparity is greater than 2, we're going to go with the bias.
Okay.
If it's 2 or less and we were betting, we would use what's called OTBL, which is explained on the forum. Opposite time before last.
Right.
Okay? So for our next bet, which would be hand number 7,
Yep.
Because the repeat total is 4 and the opposite total is 1, we have a disparity that leans towards repeats. It also leans towards repeats on the ones in a row.
Okay.
Okay? So let's just say, for argument's sake, that we see that and we say, okay, it just makes sense to go another repeat. Okay, now, before you write that in there,
I didn't.
So what I want to talk to you about is the fact that right now we're not concerned about ones in a row anymore. That column of O2 is kind of irrelevant to us. We're concerned about what happens after 2s.
Yep.
You see that? Because we have a 2 now. We have a 5 and a 6. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after the last 2, we had an opposite. I'm sorry, a repeat.
Repeat.
And our total was also, we've got up to 4 repeats. Do you see that? You kind of have to like look across. There you go.
Yep. Oh, you can see the screen, Kevin.
Okay, good. So
can you?
I can see it.
Okay, great.
So both our total after 2, we have 1 repeat, and then our total for the total game is 4 repeats.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to say after that 2, I would bet for that 2 to become a 3. That would be a repeat.
And we're going to bet 10,000 on this, me and you. We'll split.
Yeah, I bet at least 10.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Okay, so there's our 1.
Okay, so there's your 1. Okay, because that's the bet we're going to make.
Yep.
So go ahead. It did turn out to be a player. There we go. So we won that. It did turn out to be a repeat. So now we've got on 2s or more, we got 0/2.
And then we have...
in sum total, we've got 1/5. That means 1 opposite and 5 repeats.
Yeah, this is really a lot clearer over here, Kevin. I think with the comparison of 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 2 to 7. I think that's much clearer rather than a running count. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Well, as we get into it further, Keith, I think it'll be helpful again to players to be able to see both sides, and they're going to also see how the game is trending, which is very important.
Yeah, of course. I guess just in passing, if you really want the traditional count, you can just simply subtract the 1 from the 5 and get a +4. I mean,
that is correct. That is absolutely correct.
Well,
okay, so now we've got to worry about what happens after 3s in a row. You see, in player we've got 3 in a row now.
Yes.
Okay, what does our history tell us?
Well, we're still looking at repeats, I think.
Well, okay, look at the 3 in a row. Look at what's happened to the 3 in a row so far. What do we have? We've had no opposites and 1 repeat.
Yep.
Okay. We've also got a 1 to 5 total ratio.
Right here. Yep.
There you go. So what we would want to do, if we were going to bet, okay, is we would want to bet for the player again.
Yep.
So we put a 1 there. We're going to just flat bet. We're not going to do any kind of fancy bet here. Okay? Well, turns out that actual result was a bank.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. So what happened after that 3 in a row?
Well, it went opposite, Kevin.
It went opposite. So we got 1 opposite and 1 repeat.
So we need to update our column there.
There you go.
1/1.
And what does that make? What's our total?
Pardon me?
How's our total affected?
Oh, that's going to go to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go to 5.
You got it. Okay.
Right.
So now we're back to 1s in a row again.
Yep.
You see that? We're back to just all we care about is the 1 that has occurred in the bank column.
Yes,
you
sir.
see that?
Yep.
Okay. So far, after one in a row, what has happened?
We got repeats, Kevin.
So we have zero opposites and two repeats. And we also, okay, on the full equation side, we've got two total opposites and 5 total repeats.
Yeah.
So we have to make a decision, Keith. We have to make a decision. And the decision is, do we give more credence to the ones in a row, 0 opposites, 2 repeats, or do we go with the total? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I think they both point to repeats, Kevin, don't they, in your estimation?
Well, it does. But there's also something, Keith, that I want to introduce as a very important concept here.
Okay.
And the very important concept is that, again, we are trying to break down the total OR count, which is right now at 2.25. We're trying to break it down into its components. Okay? And the way I like to do that is if the disparity in any of the columns, the individual, like the 1 in a row, 2 in a row, 3 in a row, whatever.
Sure.
Is 2 or less. So right now we have a disparity of 2. We've got 0 opposites, 2 repeats. Yep. That's a disparity of 2. If it were 3, then I would be inclined to go heavy, or I'm sorry, bet with the 3. But because it's 2 in a row, and we have 2 repeats, and 0 opposites, I also like to bring into the equation something called OTBL. And that is simply a way of trying to identify and stay with the fact that between 50% ones in a row and 25% twos in a row and 12.5% threes in a row, again, that's our 87%. There's a concept here called OTBL, and that is a disparity of 2 or less. We have a disparity of 2 in the ones in a row. So we have a decision to make. The decision is, do we go with the 2 and less rule, which would say go to OTBL? I lost the screen, Keith. I apologize.
No, it's my fault. There you go.
Oh, okay. Or do we go with the fact that the total is 2 to 5? I always go with the I go with we're only concerned right now with that 1 in a row. We are not concerned with the whole shoe right now. Again, this is different than the way people might ultimately play on the Beat the Casino forum. But the whole idea is we're trying to break down the math so that we're going to dig deeper. We're going to go way deeper than just kind of how the whole game is shaking out.
Okay.
Okay. So if I was going to bet this one, I actually would go OTBL. I would bet whatever would give us the OTBL. Okay.
Well, do you agree at this point, Kevin, and correct me if I'm wrong, that OTB4L in this case and what the disparity
they happen to agree.
Yeah, they happen to agree, which sees even more reason to bet whatever. So.
Yep. Okay, so let's go to the actual result. What happened, Keith? Okay. What happened is it.
Here, I can't get rid of my damn. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I bet another 1, Kevin. I'm sorry, on banker per OTB4L, and also to your point that it probably would have been the same, points to the same direction anyway. But what actually happened, Kevin?
Well, what happened is it went back to the player.
Oh.
So if you put a circle in there you go, right there. Yeah.
I'm getting a little worried. We're down 20 grand now, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay.
Right.
Okay. You're down 2 units, Keith. You're down 2 units.
That's right. I forget that.
Okay. Let's not use 10 grand because that's stupid anyway, right? So we're above the table limit. Okay. So you're okay. So now you've got after a 1 in a row, you've got 1 opposite and 2 repeats.
Yep.
Okay? And how's our total change?
Well, it looks like, if I can get rid of this shit on my screen here, I don't know why. I think what happens is I bumped the drawing pad, forgive me, and then I have to get rid of it.
Oh, okay, we'll take your time. I'm sorry.
No. I was trying to make it nice for everybody. Let me choose a pen color here. Okay, black. Okay, so I updated this, Kevin. This is going to be 1/2, right?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. And then over here, this is going to be 3.
3.
Right?
Yep, 3.
/5.
There you go. Okay, so we've got a 1 in a row count, 2 in a row count, a 3 in a row count, and a total count.
Yep.
But what we just talked about a second ago is we're going to give more credence to the individual counts, 1, 2, or 3 in a row, than we are to the total.
Okay.
So we just introduced that concept. Okay, so let's move forward. Let's go to play number 10.
All right.
Okay, after play 9, again, we have to be concerned with 1 in a rows.
Yes.
There's a 1 in a row. And what is our OR count on 1 in a row?
Well, it's 1 out of 2, Kevin.
Okay. Coincidentally, our total count is 3 and 5, which is also a disparity of 2 or less.
Yeah.
So what I
we
said
don't
a
have
minute
to
ago, right, so you might want to write a little rule up there that disparity of 2 or less is, you really got to consider OTBL. Okay, again, Keith, where we're at is we've got a 1 in a row column. We have 1 opposite and 2 repeats.
Yep, right here.
There you go. What's the disparity between 2 and 1?
1.
2 minus 1. It's 1. Okay, so I'm going to say, again, I don't know yet what's going to happen. Let's make an OTBL bet. If we're going to bet this at all, I know we're down 2 units. I'm going to say bet OTBL. What would give you an OTBL?
Can I interject a question which may have come up at some point, Kevin, just to follow your thinking?
Mm-hmm.
So your go-to system in this case, because there isn't a lot of disparity, is OTB4L. However, there's no disparity in 1s and 2s. There's more 1 in a rows. So you're basing it upon after just 1 in a row, I think, where people may get confused, because the disparity isn't really big, but until it gets big, we're going to go ahead and bet OTB4L, right? Is it always your go-to? I guess the question is it always your go-to when there's no disparity?
Well, Keith, one of the things we're going to have to see as this issue moves forward is we're going to have to look at the trends. We're not going to look at everything in its entirety. One of the mistakes people make is they just look at the total numbers of disparity. And I don't care if you're looking at opposites versus repeats, OTBL versus TBL. I'm introducing advanced concepts here, bank versus player. You've got to look at what's happening lately also.
I'm with you.
You can't just look at what it is in its entirety and bet random, I'm just going to bet that.
Okay, I'm with you. No, it's a good point. So after 1 in a row, there's a little disparity for repeats, but not enough to make a decision. So let's just go with OTB4L, which points to the same bet anyway. Is that your assumption? Is that your logic here too?
Well, it's not that it gives me the same bet. My logic is we're gonna bet whatever would create an OTBL result. And if you look at that 1 back on the bank, okay, now we had 1 player. An OTBL result would be what? The bet on.
Well, OTB4L is you're going to bet player.
Okay, well, let's do that.
All right, there's my one.
Okay, well, guess what? It was a player.
All right, we hit.
Yay!
Okay, great.
So let's retabulate our scores, one in a row. We know now that we've got another repeat. Just went from one to two.
One out of three, right?
One not out of it's one and three. One opposite and three. It's not one out of three.
I'm with you. One opposite and three repeats. I'm sorry, you're right.
Okay. And what happened to our total count?
We went from 3 opposites and 6 repeats, Kevin.
There you go. Okay. Okay, so now we got to be concerned with 2s in a row, right? We're on the player side.
Right here.
We got a situation. We got 2 in a row. What has happened on the 2s so far in the shoe? What has the 2s shown us?
Well, we've never had a 2 stay at 2. They've all went to 3.
Okay, they all went to 3. Okay, and how many went to 3, and how many stayed at or how many opposites, Keith, and how many repeats on 2? Say that out loud for me.
Well, on 2s, we've had 0 opposites, Kevin, and 2 repeats on 2.
Okay. And what did I just tell you about when the disparity is 2 or less?
Well, you go to OTB4L.
That's correct. That is what I would do for the next bet. I would say that, again, we're going to pay more attention to the 1 in a rows, the 2 in a rows, the 3 in a rows than we are to the total. The total is important, Keith, but we're not playing totals. We're not playing,
this column here, we're not
playing System 40. We're not playing, you know what I mean? We're not playing NOR, nothing like that.
I'm with you, Kevin. That's
okay.
I mean, obviously in this play here, it's going to work out. But yeah, I mean, if looking at the total repeat count, it would indicate that a repeat. Even here, if you didn't say wait till the disparity is 3 or more, then it's significant. It would call for another player bet. But to your point, wait till the disparity gets to 3. Otherwise, bet your OTB4L. And that's how you're thinking here, Kevin.
The reason I'm thinking that is, most shoes, 75%, Keith, 75% of most shoes, you're either going to have a 1 in a row or a 2 in a row.
Yeah.
That only leaves you 25% of the events will be a 3 or more.
Yep. That's
not in every shoe, but most shoes.
Yep.
So the further we get into this, the more important that concept becomes. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
It's critical to understand that we're breaking down, we're digging down, so to speak, beyond just an OR count, or a player banker count, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Okay?
We're saying, I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's going to be a 1 in a row or 2 in a row, and it went to 2 in a row. Geez, you really want to bet? There's no disparity. I mean, why would you bet it's going to continue repeating and repeating? Let's just go for the most common events at this point. So I'm with you.
Well, again, the critical thing is, Keith, and I think it's very difficult to understand, especially for somebody like you who's played a long time. It's hard to understand.
I get it. I'm with you. I got to be honest with you. I understand 100% of what you're saying. I think it makes an awful lot of sense. Yep.
Okay. So now now what do we got again? We got another 1 in a row.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Okay. I'm sorry.
We got a 1 on the bank.
All right. Let me update my counts here, Kevin.
Okay.
So we got 2 out of 2 opposites after 1 in a row, and 3 repeats so far, right? And we'll update this one here on the end too. We got 4 opposites and 6 repeats. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So we've got a 1 in a row, right?
Yep.
We know our OR count on the 1s in a row so far right? We've got
Right.
one opposite, and how many repeats?
Well, we've had two opposites, haven't we, Kevin? Oh no, I'm sorry. I you know what I did? I goofed there. Let me fix that.
You
I'm
did.
sorry.
You did. That's why I'm trying to.
You know what? It's like playing in the casino. We're under such pressure.
Well, once somebody were to start playing this, honestly, it would be easy to do. This is so easy to record. It's
Yeah, it is. I think I put it in the darn wrong place. Okay, so after let me correct this here. Okay, there we go. So we have one opposite after two in a row, and then we have two repeats. Okay, so back to what your original point. You were saying, what is the our OR count on one in a row? Well, we're at one opposite, Kevin, and three repeats.
Okay, what did I say about the disparity between those two numbers?
Well, it's not big enough to be significant, so we're going to default to OTBL.
It's two or less, Keith. It's
right.
2. 3 minus 1 equals 2.
Yep.
Okay. 2 or less says go OTBL. Until we get some other evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to go OTBL, and the result was a bank.
We hit.
Okay? So I know we haven't been doing the score, but if you want to do the score down the right-hand side, we went -1, -2, -1, and we're back to 0.
Let's see, -1, -2, -1, 0. I get it. We're at +1, aren't we? No.
Okay. I think we may have missed one, but Keith, I'm sorry. This is, it's the number. It's difficult doing this, in real time, because you're making all these, things. But okay, let's go to number 7.
Okay.
Okay, we're saying we won that.
Yep.
Then we lost 2.
Oh,
right?
we're +2 here.
So now we're +2. Then, if that's the case, if your numbers are accurate, we're +2.
Yep, I'm sorry. Sorry.
So if you want to go back and put that score in, to get us to show that, you can do that. You go back to the original number 7.
1. This is, here we're at 1. Here we're at +2. At this one, we're at 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one, we're at -1. This one, we're at -2, right? Or no?
No, Keith. I think we got to start with line number 7.
1, 0, -1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then here we're at +1, and here we're at 2.
No, we're back to 0 on number 10.
Here, sorry, 0. Darn it, Jesus. 0. Here we're at +1. All right. Right. And then we go to +2. Okay.
And that's why I say, Keith, I'm sorry I keep telling you, I think you got to use the pluses and minuses, okay, when you can. It's just so you don't get confused or somebody doesn't get confused. I would tell anybody to do that. If they want to do it just raw numbers, fine.
Yeah.
No,
No, I'm with you. The only problem is, it's just trying to do it on the computer with a pen cap. It's hard to write.
I agree. I agree. So
but I want to try and do it for everybody so it works out a little bit better. But okay.
Well, let's go. So now we've got what? We've got 2 in a row again. We've got line 11 and line 12. That adds up to 12 is a repeat.
Yes, sir. So
okay. So after the 1 in a row, what did it do?
It went repeat.
And so now what do we got as our count?
Well, it went repeat, so we're going to update that, Kevin.
Sure.
This is 1 opposite, and then 4 repeats after a 1 in a row.
That is correct. And what's our total count? If you want to keep that.
Yep. Oh, it doesn't hurt, I guess.
No. So we got 5.
Let's see. So here it was a repeat again. So I have 4 opposites.
Okay.
So it stays 4, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So we have 4 opposites, 6, And that was 6 that came down, and then 4 out of 6 still. 4 opposites and 6 repeats. I misstated it again. I'm sorry.
That's right. That's a 5 above there. That's hard to read that 4 or 5.
Where are you at?
You might have to go back, Keith, and make this card clear. I don't know. It's up to you. But
well, here at play 10, Kevin, I have 3 and 6.
Yep.
Okay. At play 11, I have 4 and 6.
Okay.
Now here at play 12, I have 4 and 7. Is that correct?
That would be correct, Keith. That's what I'm trying to get at. You have to.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right, great.
Don't be sorry. Okay, so now we're concerned with 2s in a row.
Yep.
You see why? So
yep.
what has happened so far in the game with 2s in a row?
Well, we've only had 1 of the 2 in a rows stay at 2 in a row, and we've had 2 of the 2 in a rows go to 3 in a row.
Okay. And what have we said about a disparity?
Well, we need a disparity of 3 or more to use the metric in its entirety.
Of most common or most happening, yeah.
Yep, we're going to default to OTB4L with our 2 in a rows at this point.
You are absolutely correct.
So we're going to bet 1 on player.
Okay, let's do that. Then we'll see what happens.
It's Kevin, just as a point of conversation, from your style of play, at what point would you say, you know what, what would you not bet OTB4L, or is there any guidance for that for the players from your experience of, we're betting every hand now. What would say, you know what, I'm not going to bet this?
Well, here, let's talk about a few things, okay?
Okay.
We're up
right.
We're up 2 units, okay?
Yep.
Some people might want to say, well, I've invested about 15 minutes in this shoe. Now I'm up 2 units. I've already experienced the downside of this. I'm just going to live with 2 and go home or go to the next table.
Uh-huh.
You see what I mean? That's
yeah.
version 1. Version 2 is, you know what? It seems like it's kind of working out. Let's play this out a little bit. One option would be don't play, don't bet, whatever you want to do, and paper bet. The other option would be let's see what happens. We'll get to a point, Keith, I think, where you'll see there might be an inflection point. An inflection point would be somewhere where we might change based on the trends that are happening. We're not going to be concerned after a while with the very, very total trend. We're going to be concerned with what happened lately.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you about that until we get there. I can't explain that until we get there.
No, but that certainly is the spirit of this system, is what happened lately and what happened with the last event, that we're looking at.
Exactly. Keith, you are absolutely right.
Yep.
We are concerned with breaking down the events from the events that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many occur in a shoe. We're concerned with going, what's happening after a 1? What's happening after a 2? What's happening after a 3? We're not going to worry about anything beyond that. We're at 87% of everything after that, after 3s. Okay? Or with the 1s, 2s, and 3s. I apologize. So it's hard to be, this is kind of taking it out of a context. Somebody like you, okay, or even me, or some of our long-term players might be thinking in terms of what I'm trying to do, and what we're trying to do here for our players is we're trying to say, if you dig down deeper into the math of the game, you're going to find some things out that you probably didn't recognize before.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
and that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, Kevin. I think that it brings back a little bit more of the traditional play too. Where I think, and see if you agree, a lot of players looked at, well, whatever happened before when it was, well, they actually break it down a little bit differently. I think watching traditional players, and that maybe you can comment on this too. Like if a player is sitting at a table and there were 2 in a rows on player, 2 players and a couple bankers, another 2 players and a couple bankers, and then 2 players again, most folks would bet that the player is going to stay 2 in a row again. That kind of gets on that flavor. However, you quantify it with, which is brilliant, is let's make sure we count and find a disparity in the numbers first before we go with the default of, well, it happened, if it was that simple, well, it happened before, let's just bet it again. You know, where this adds the variables and the logic behind the bet, not just the bet itself, and then when not to do it. So,
what we're also trying to do, Keith, is we're not trying to look at too many things. We have to put ourselves in a place where we haven't played thousands of games at this point. We haven't played 500 games. We haven't played 100 games maybe. You and I can't do that because we have played those numbers of thousands of games, okay?
Yeah.
What we're trying to do again, and I don't care if you are an experienced player. Of course you can use this or decide not to use it or, I would say test some old shoes. See how it works, in your casinos. See how it works for you. I think it's going to work very well. However, I'm also concerned about what's the person that, they come on the forum and there's 10 systems. And there's more than that, by the way. There's 10. Let's just say there's 10.
Yeah,
and they're, if you try to put that all together into a mindset without having played hundreds, 500s, thousands of shoes, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. You either better know all 10 and know which one works where, or you better find something simpler as a means of identifying what could work for you. And that's what we're trying to do. Again, we're going back to we're going back to 5th grade. This isn't calculus. This isn't trigonometry. This is not differential equations.
Okay, so what happened here?
Enough of that.
Yeah,
so
what happened?
We said we're going to do OTBL for the reasons cited, and that particular play turned out to be a player. So we won.
Hot.
There you go, hot. So we're going to be very good, kid. You're going to update the 1 in a rows.
Or the 2 in a rows. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the 2 in a rows. No, the 2 in a rows. No. After the twos, you're right. After the twos, we now have another opposite, and we still have 2 repeats.
I think I'm getting a knack of this pen. I'm finding if you press a little harder. I'm not sure what these buttons are for, but that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so then we update our regular count, and then, of course, this is going to go to 5 then.
Right.
And then this is going to stay 6, and now we're at +3, Kevin.
There you go. And yet we've got a shoe that's relatively neutral.
Yeah. And you don't like my
total count is 5 and 6.
Yeah. You don't like my 30 grand analysis, though, huh? Okay.
It's not that I don't like it, Keith, but I want to keep it in units. And anybody can add as many zeros on there as they'd like to.
All right, buddy, go ahead.
Okay, so now we're concerned again with 1s in a row.
Yep.
You don't need to know any systems. You don't need to know anything, except you need to know what an OTBL count is, but whatever. 1 in a row. What's happened after 1s in a row so far?
Well, we've had one opposite after a 1 in a row, Kevin,
right.
And 4 of them went to repeats now. So we have the 3 disparity there that is your sweet spot that you're looking for.
So there's the sweet spot. So what does it say to do? It says since the disparity is 3 or more, as opposed to 2 or less, we're going to go with the repeat. We're going to go with what's happened so far.
So we're going to bet 1 on player again, Kevin.
Correct. And guess what? It's a player. Imagine that. By the way, again, this is a real shoe. 2 days ago, Suncoast Casino, played with another player. I'm not giving you fake shoes or dummy shoes or anything, We're just playing what the shoe is delivering to us for the purposes of education.
Exactly.
Okay?
Okay. So our updated real count, I don't know why it happens there. Let me undo that there. I think, okay. So now this stays at 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then this goes up to our 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually at +4.
There you go. So Keith, you asked me a question earlier. You said, well, Kevin, what's your opinion on, when do you change? When do you, maybe evaluate, geez, maybe I'm at my win goal, maybe not. This is where we're starting to get into that territory. We're starting to say, there's no reason to change what we're doing. There's no reason to change. We won 5 in a row. So we're not going to change.
Yeah, right.
But we might want to start thinking, $40,000, $40,000. 4 units, Keith, okay? Let's not get too excited here, but let's keep playing the game. So now after 2 in a row, say the 2, now we got to worry about 2s in a row. What's happened so far?
Yep, here we have 2 of 2, Kevin.
Okay.
2 opposites, forgive me, after 2 in a row, and 2 went to 3 in a row. So there's no disparity there.
Okay. So there's no disparity, so we're going to get bet OTBL.
Okay. So we're going to put the 1 right here.
There you go. The result was a player instead of a banker, so we lost. So we put a 0 or a circle, in the player column. Okay.
Update this.
We're going to update that.
This is going to go to 3 opposites.
Correct.
No, I'm sorry. 3 repeats, rather. So this is stage 2.
Well, the 2 went. The 2 went opposite.
Oh, it went to bank?
It went. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. No, I was thinking what we bet. No, the 2 went repeat. You're right. So it's 2 opposites, 3 repeats.
All right.
That looks like my scorecard at a casino. It's got those lines all over it. No.
Oh, there we go. Okay. And then we're going to update this. Of course, this is going to stay 5.
Right.
And then this is going to go to to 8. I'm sorry.
Correct.
And then this is plus 3.
That's correct. Because we're flat betting. We're not, Okay. Okay, we're plus 3. Okay, so now we're presented with a 3 in a row.
Yep.
What has happened so far on 3s in a row? It's happened 2 times in the shoe. What's happened so far on 3 in a row?
Our 3 in a rows are pretty much 1 went to opposite, Kevin, and 1 went to repeat. So there's no, we have no disparity on our 3 or more.
So since we have no disparity, it's 2 or less. What would we do?
We're going to do OTBL.
We're going to bet. We're going to
bet on bank.
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay, so we'll put our 1 bet there.
Right.
Okay.
And it did in fact end up being a bank.
Okay. So now our 3 in a rows, we're going to update that count. So it went opposite. So this is going to be a 2. And this is going to stay at 1, of course.
Correct.
This is that was a 5. So then this is going to update to 6. And this is going to update to 8. Stay the same.
Stay at 8. Stay at 8, right?
Yep. And then, of course, we're back to plus 4 less the VIG.
There you go.
On this one. Damn it. Okay. I think you get the idea. That's a 4.
Okay, so it's a 4, right. Okay. So now we've got the decision again. We're back to 1 in a row. It's play number 16 is 1 in a row.
Yeah, now, Kevin, we got some real disparity going on here, buddy.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So we're betting player here.
Why would we bet player? We know that it's a 1 opposite in 5 repeats.
Oh, I'm sorry, the other way around. I looked at it wrong. Yeah, we would certainly want to bet repeats here.
We would certainly want to bet a repeat. Yes, we would.
So we're going to go 1 on banker here.
There you go. And it was a banker.
Ah, come on, you're lying now to us.
No, I'm not. No. This is...
Okay. All right. So we update our count. This, of course, stays 1 on our repeats, Kevin. And then our repeats go to 6.
Yeah, that's right. 1 on the opposites and 6 on the repeats. That's correct.
And then this stays at 6 on opposites. And then, of course, we go to 9. Kevin, in this count here, you defer mostly to 90% 95% of the time to these statistics here. This here really is just, this would never override anything, would it, in your view?
Well, that's not, Keith, that's not really true. And we're not at a point where we could, illustrate that. But there would be times where you might want to say, you know what? And I'll give you an example. I had a shoe the other day. I had 11 in a row.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And yet before that, it had been almost all opposites.
Okay.
Well, all of a sudden, while the ones, twos, and threes, they vacillated. But remember, we stop at 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, as the shoe went on, the repeat side really picked up. So yeah, I had to give that some credence because what was happening lately in the shoe, you know what I mean, was the repeats were really catching up to the opposites, even just after the ones, twos, and threes.
Okay. So that's interesting.
So yeah. So, but it's again what we're really trying to do, Keith. Again, and I'm not trying to keep saying the same thing. It's just that we're drilling down to 1 in a rows, 2 in a rows, and 3 in a rows.
Yep.
We're concerned, obviously, with what's happening in a total thing, but you can see 5 to 7, or 5 to 8, 6 to 8, 6 to 9. We're playing a pretty even shoe, but we're at +5 units.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just do what happens now. We got 2 in a row. We got 16 and 17. So we're trying to figure out what happens for 18. We got 2 in a row. What's our twos telling us?
Well, our twos are two times they went opposite, 3 times they went repeat. So it's kind of a toss-up. There's not enough disparity to say. So we're going to default to OTB4L.
The disparity is 1, which is equals 2 or less. So we're going to go to OTBL again.
Yep. Okay.
It's been
so
working so far.
We're going to bet 1 here on player.
There you go. Okay. It turned out to be, it was a player, by the way. It is a player.
Okay.
So we're going to update the twos.
Yeah. So that's going to go to 3-3 now.
Right.
That's a 3. And then, of course, to update this count, this is going to go to 7, 9. And this is going to go to 4 plus 4. Okay.
Well, it's going to be +6. We just won another unit, Keith. I mean, it's.
Oh, we won that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Jeez,
we're at 60,000, buddy. Don't lose me now.
Oh my God. +6. Sorry about that. Holy cow.
So we're 7 and 9 there. There you go.
And 3 and 3.
Correct. So what do we have to concern ourselves with next? We're looking at, now we got to look at hand number 19. What should we do?
Well, hand number 19, we got to look at 1 in a row.
Okay.
So our 1 in a row, let me just fix this 3 out of 3 so everyone can see this here. Okay. Our 1 in a row is a lot of disparity. It looks like most of them have gone to 2 in a row. For the disparity of 5. So
yes,
1.
That's correct.
So we're going to go ahead.
2 or more. 2 or more.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 or more. I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and bet it's going to repeat here, I would think. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So no, it went back to base.
So we'll update this 2 out of 6, or not 2 out of 6, 2 opposites and 2 repeats.
Correct.
And this is going to be 8-9 now.
Yeah.
And this is going to be +5.
That's correct. So 8, 9, and +5. 8/9, then +5. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you asked me a question earlier, Keith. I don't mean to interject. We could keep moving here, and I think you're starting to see how easy it is to mark if you got your head on and you really just are marking these things. It's not hard to mark the card at all.
No.
It's once you get used to it, you just go boom, 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 boom. What's the next hand? You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, you've asked me to check with what is the qualitative, concern or quantitative about where do you either change or stop playing or just don't make the next bet, okay?
Yeah,
so
right.
You can see, we went, if you look back, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, +4. Then we went +3 down, +4 up, +5 up, +6 up. We hit our head again on here. Now we're down to 5. I'd say right now, let's just keep moving and see what happens. That would be my inclination.
Yeah, we're on a roll here.
So we're at hand 20.
And 20.
We have to be concerned about what? Ones in a row again.
Yeah, we're two repeats and 6 opposites. So, that's a disparity of 4 still, Kevin. So we're going to bet an opposite after this, or a repeat after this one?
We're going to bet a repeat.
All right, let's go with 1. There it is.
Okay. Now, do you see that? Because we have a disparity of 4.
Yeah, right here. Yep. That's
just like on the last one, we had a disparity of 5, and we bet on the player, but it turned out to be bang.
Right.
Okay. Disparity of 4. Bet the repeat. Bet the 1, and it wins.
All right. Let me circle that 1 there. Then that's going to make this, Kevin, 2 of.
We're not. Yeah, there. You go. 2 and yes.
Oh, I put it in the wrong damn field.
No, it's just hard to read. Sometimes the numbers have them on the screen. You got it. It's a two opposites and 7 repeats.
Yep, 2. This is a 2. Believe it or not.
That's correct. That's what I'm saying. Sorry to read. 2 and a 7.
And that's a 7. Okay.
So our total
is going to go 8-10 now.
You got it.
8 snowman, and then this. You know what? Let me try this over here. Let me try this 10 here instead. See if that works better. 8, 10. Yeah, that does. Okay.
Just like those damn casinos. Just like those damn casino pens.
I know. Imagine that.
They don't work.
This pen over here works a little better. Okay. So again, now we're 2 of 7 here. Kevin, interject a question, and forgive me if I'm ahead of myself. I'm sure maybe it's popping in some folks' mind. When you see the disparity, and this is a hypothetical now, and I'm just interested in your thought process, and maybe many others are too. Let's say, for instance, that at some point the disparity in 1 in a rows gets to be 1 of 6, 1 of 7, 1 of 8, 1 of 9, 1 of 10, and then it starts coming down. 2 of 10, 3 of 10, 4 of 10, where you still have the +3 disparity, but there's a significant trend towards the other direction of 3 incremental units or whatnot. Do you go with the trend of 3 at all if it's above the disparity?
Well, Keith, here's the more important thing. What you're going to see is your score is going to be going down. It's going to be going from +7 or +8 to +7, +6, +5. Yeah, so you got to pay attention to that. Absolutely.
Well, it may go down if you're not catching the 2s and 3s too, but there is a possibility that you could be playing even and winning the other ones, but the disparity in the other one is so great that even if it's reversing direction, you're still going to have that +3 disparity. So that was my question. Do you say, you know what, 3 times in a row I've lost this bet on ones, but the disparity is still more than 3? What would you do?
I would tell you that I would be very carefully looking at that change from the repeat side to a more recent change to the opposite side. In your example, you said 1 to 10, 2 to 10, 3 to 10, 4 to 10, 5. You know what I mean? I'd be looking at that. I would be eyeballing that and saying, the shoes. Let's talk about a couple of concepts. Number one, we all know, you and I know, and again, our experienced players know, the shoes don't stay the same for 80 hands anymore. They kind of used to. A lot more of them did than now. But for the most part, you're gonna get some points in the shoe where it's going to get weird on you.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing that's a given. I can't tell you exactly where, but I can point it out to any shoe where it happened. But the more important thing is we've always had a concept that before you start playing, you've got a bankroll. And let's just say, Keith, let's say it's 10 units. So with 10 units, it's $100,000. No, I'm kidding. 10 units is, let's say it's $100. You're playing $10 units.
Sure.
Okay? So we started out this game with $100. I'm making that up, but it's a very important concept for our players. Before anybody starts the game, you need to know, where would you be happy and stop? How many times have you gone into a casino, or anybody that watches this video? Let me pose this question to whoever ever watches this. How many times have you gone into a casino and there's 6, 7 people at the table, and 3 of them look like they've got a lot of chips in front of them, and pretty soon they got more chips, and then you get up and go to the restroom for 5 minutes, you come back, and all of a sudden, they got 0.
Yeah.
What happened is they got greedy.
Yeah,
now, 1 or 2 of them might have stuck a few in their pocket, but unlikely. You see it over and over and over. You see people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I can't even tell you how many times. I've seen it really at least 1,000 times, because that's how long.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
right now, we started with 10 units in my hypothetical example I just gave you. We're up 6 units. We're up 60%.
Yeah, at least.
In 20 plays, which should take us, it depends on the shoe and the dealer and everything, but let's say it took us 30 minutes. Let's say there was a tie in there and whatever. Okay, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
It took us 30 minutes, and we're up 60%.
Yeah, what do you want, egg in your beer?
To answer your question, I might say to myself, even at this point in my Baccarat career, okay, I might say, you know what? This is pretty damn good, because I know what can happen to that 6 units. Sure, it could go to 10 or 20 or 50 or 1,000. You know what I mean? Not 1,000.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
But flat betting, the good news is you're not going to get killed, or you're going to notice exactly what's happening to you, because you're not going to be making, flipping 6, 7, 8 unit bets. Okay. The bad news is that it's kind of a grind. Keith. It's like digging a hole. You know what I mean? You start digging, and the earth is soft. It's kind of not too bad. You dig a little further, you start hitting a few rocks. Pretty soon, the hole's deep enough. You got to get down in there and start digging from the hole rather than from the earth, from the top.
Yeah,
it's the same with the Baccarat game. So to answer your question, yes, it's extremely important at the outset to start with a win goal and let's just say we were down 4 units right now instead of up 6. Yeah. Well, I would have said by now, I would have definitely said, get the heck out of that shoe.
Yeah, I would think so. Absolutely.
Do you see what I mean? So it's really hard to say, but if I had 50 units in my bankroll and I got down 4, I probably wouldn't be that concerned about it.
No.
You see what I mean?
Let's do this, Kevin, if we could. We've been going like an hour and 15 minutes now.
Sure.
Let's give the folks this video. It's going to take a little bit of time to render all this. Yeah. And otherwise, it's going to get just a little too hard to manage. So let me go ahead and let's stop there. I think we made it very clear how do you agree? I think we've really clarified some things. So let's stop the recording now and give some folks the opportunity to take it from here. And then perhaps if another segment is necessary on some of the more finer points of other things that you wanted to cover, we can go ahead and do that. Does that sound reasonable to you?
That sounds reasonable. And we can even pick a different, I've got 1,000 shoes, or you pick a shoe and don't tell me what the answers are. I'll play it,
Okay. Well, let me upload this. Let me render this up on GoToMeeting here and get this up and get some comments. And we can do a follow-up one if we so choose, if they need it, and throw it out to the forum and see what they're thinking. And hopefully they like the direction we're going here, and kind of go from there. If that's reasonable to you, sir.
That is reasonable. That is very reasonable. And the important thing, Keith, that I want to leave, since it's going to be recorded, I want to leave with this thought is, as you become more experienced, okay, as somebody plays enough Baccarat, okay, what you see on those first two lines of the toe board, the banker and player, you're going to see many times that those numbers that are going to come real close to one another, especially by the end of the shoe. What you're not going to see, unless you are more experienced, and then you can maybe see a little better, but you're not going to see it unless you kind of write it down, which we'll write it down. I know it's a little painful, but it's going to get you thinking about it. And remember, it's your money. You're not going to see underlying what's happening in the game. That is critical. That is the reason you and I are sitting here spending our time on a Sunday afternoon talking about this.
Yeah.
So that we need to help other people understand this. So I'm going to let you go, and I appreciate your time.
No, I mean, it's nothing to do with letting me go. I just don't want to make the darn videos too darn long. We can't manage it. But no, that's cool. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, well, I'll render this up, put this up. We'll throw it up here. It'll probably take me about an hour or two to render it. And, we'll kind of go from there. And, I'm sure myself and everyone else, we can't thank you enough for all the time and effort you're putting into this. And all the insights are just absolutely wonderful. So thank you very much for all you do for us, Kevin. It's appreciated.
Believe me, I enjoy it, Keith. I want to help people, so it's not a problem. So.
Well, we do have a good time, and we appreciate you. So, all right, Kevin, we'll see you on the forum then. I'll talk to you again soon.
You got it. Take care.
Bye-bye.